I have a little texting tip for you if you want to text them, but this is only if you are in a much more mentally stable place. So it doesn't really matter per se if it's a breakup scenario. I mean, probably keep more distance with that one, but if you are thinking about someone, a romantic interest of yours, and they've pulled away, they've withdrawn, all this kind of stuff, and you're feeling unloved and you're kind of beating yourself up and you're reminiscing over when are they going to get back to you, if at all, and you have all these negative scenarios playing out in your head. Or, potentially even worse, you're on social media allowing other consciousnesses and voices enter into your headspace where there's no room for even yours to exist. And this is partially the reason why those ideas are being stimulated so much. You're playing out this image of all these negative consequences and just kind of wish things would disappear, and it just gets worse. But when it comes to actually texting the person whom you are romantically interested in, this can even just be for family members, and I was thinking about this after scrolling a couple of my old texting advice videos. Of course, you don't want to be texting this person if you are feeling bad. This is the great indicator that I'm just going to be experimenting with, okay? If you feel like shit at any point when you're trying to send the text, this is the indicator that you should not be sending the text. If you fear that you're going to be regretting the text, probably don't go sending the text. If the likeliness of repercussions are going to be being brought into fruition as a result of your text, maybe don't do the text. Silence and withdrawing yourself can be a way to increase your own respect. But let's say you've grown, or you've somewhat grown. At what point do you start texting the person you're romantically interested in? And don't take what I say too seriously. Take what I say with a massive grain of salt. You may start texting this person under certain conditions that I'm about to reveal. When you feel good. This is the primary condition. Primary condition number 1. You actually must feel good. There has to be an absence of pain. Think about this logically. For the other party to respond to you, to reciprocate, they have to feel the exact same way. Ideally, they would prefer to. Yes, when escalation happens, two people are gnawing and biting away at each other, and this is not the type of environment we want to create. We want to create the type of environment where we're happy, we're good, and that it doesn't really matter what happens, even if they do respond negatively to us, even if they do reciprocate in a negative manner, this is fine. We're completely okay with whatever happens. If they don't reciprocate, cool, maybe even better. You see how our attitude, our good attitude, is the basis in which we are going to rely on to determine if we're going to be texting someone or not. This is probably a little bit different if it's like serious business matters, of course. You have important emails to send or just something important. Here's another thing you can actually take away from my love triangle framework, by the way. You need a freaking reason to be texting this person for the majority of the time, because if you're just texting and trying to brute force connection, you are going to be shooting yourself in the foot. If you want to learn a little bit more, I highly recommend you check out my love triangle framework. It's in the link in the description of my bio. The trick is, though, you can't manufacture these reasons out of thin air. They have to be legitimate, and the other party can pick up on whether they're legitimate or not like that. Again, grab a copy of my love triangle framework in the description of my bio. Now, how do we get to this state of awesomeness, this good feeling within us? Well, you might have heard in the manifestation realm you're supposed to detach. Maybe you've read Mark Mance's book, How to Not Give a Fuck. That's great. But I want you to take away this analogy that I'm about to reveal to you. And it's about how love operates. You can check out the playlist in my saved area up on the top of my TikTok channel. And basically, self-love, to me, this is how I translate it. You have to love yourself before you can love another party, right? If you are deprecating yourself, which is what we're trying to avoid, we should not be sending text messages where we're deprecating ourselves, right? We should not be compromising ourselves for the sake of trying to manufacture this relationship or this connection. This is what a lot of people might think how relationships are supposed to be. There's supposed to be a lot of compromise, but that's not true, because how are you supposed to be in a relationship if you wear one black shoe and one brown shoe? That's what compromise is. We need to love the other person, but the only way to love the other person is we need to love ourselves. I feel like I'm on a bit of a tangent here, but basically, stop trying to put the airplane mask on the other person and focus on putting yours on first. My analogy for this is you have to love yourself like a tree growing, like a tree. Some people actually refer to this as giving yourself energy back. You focus on yourself even, which is kind of true. And you love yourself and the other people will love you, right? It's kind of a self-concept thing, more in the manifestation realm. But my analogy is you are like a tree. You are like a little tree and you're growing and you're growing and growing. And over time, you become a big, strong tree. This tree, who we are, only comes about into this growth, this reality, because we love ourselves. We keep absorbing the sunlight. We keep absorbing the nutrition in the earth. We keep sucking in the rain, and we keep growing. Now, when it comes to loving the neighboring tree, there's another tree growing next to us. How do we love the neighboring tree? What a lot of people might accidentally do is they compromise the integrity of their own tree. Ba-bow! Ba-bow! We don't do that. Because how can that neighboring tree even trust you that you can take care of them if you can't even take care of yourself? Instead, what we do is we just give nuggets. We give the residue from our tree onto the neighboring tree. For example, let's say you had to give money. You could look at donations in the same way. When you are sharing money, you could even do this. Give money to the other party, but you don't do so because you're trying to get them desperately to reciprocate. You're not giving them money because you're compromising your own integrity. You're not giving them money because you feel guilty and full of shame about something and you want to talk about something. You give money because it's spare change. In the same way, if you're going to be texting someone, you're so upbeat, you're so happy, you're so good, you're texting someone because that's just spare change. So all in all, when you're facing tribulation and there's turbulence, it is so crucial that you remain absolutely calm. At what point will you get to this awesome state of calmness and happiness? This is probably going to take up to 6 months to a year, to be honest. Or, depending on how the other party reciprocates, depending on if there's any actual valid reasons to be in communication with you. And here's probably another tip to take away from this, to reinforce what I'm talking about here. Because you can't just say, oh wow, this is how you text the person now. I'm just going to stay calm now. And you can't really fake it. I know that when you listen to some advice out there that says how to do something, you kind of do act on that advice a little bit, but it actually bites you in the ass real hard. So when you listen to my video here, don't go immediately texting that person. You have to wait 6 to 12 months, roughly, or there has to be a legitimate reason, right? You can't just make stuff up out of the blue and pull reasons out of your ass, especially if they don't benefit the other party. Again, like the money thing, you can't just go giving them money because, you love them so much. You give them money because it's just chump change. And that's how you actually grow the other person. So the final tip, which is this, right? The only reason you're in so much freaking pain is because you want the damn thing. Because you value it so much. Can you deny, if you didn't want it, that if you didn't really care, that you wouldn't feel hurt? Can you deny that? Because if you just stop caring about it, if you stop looking for that, then it's probably more than likely going to be 10 times easier to come towards you. The only reason it hurts so much, that they're not texting you back or reciprocating, or who knows, they've even gone out with someone else and betrayed you, who knows what. It's because you cared about that thing. And here's another tip that I rarely speak about, but it's so crucial. People cannot take away the things from you that you do not care about. Just like when my parents punished me for enjoying video games too much when I was a child, they punished me by taking away my video games because I loved video games. But my siblings, they never punished my siblings with removing video games because they didn't like video games as much as I did. In the same way, this is how we can resolve our own emotional turbulence and just keeping ourselves safe in general. There's actually a term for this. It's called thumbscrew. Might want to look that one up. Or Achilles heel.